Hey guys, Jason Scudellari from CPP, and today I'm going to show you how to install a high clearance sway bar using the billet clamps. Now this process will work with any of their sway bars for this application and any of their clamps for this application. Let's get started. So we're going to install the clamps first. And remember, when doing this, leave them loose because we're going to have to make adjustments. Also, it's a good idea to put a little bit of anti-seize on your bolt. All right, we got that in place. It's rather loose, so we can move it around still. First thing we're going to do is make sure it's centered to the rear end, and then we'll get everything mounted up there. We'll get the right angle and go from there. All right, guys, one thing I want to talk about real quick are the bushings. A lot of the competitors' bushings are smooth like this on the inside, where these ones actually have divots in there, which catches the grease. This will help from squeezing that grease out once tightened up and put through the motions. This traps the grease. That way you don't have to worry about re-greasing them down the road, making a mess, all that good stuff. So let's get these installed. Now I'm just going to hold this up there real quick to see how centered I am. So we actually look pretty good there. We're good from left to right also. So next step is to install the bar. Okay, looking good. So once you get your bar all situated, centered up, you're happy with it, you got the right angle, be sure you tighten these brackets up first. Then you come back in and you tighten up the sway bar bracket. What that's going to do is allow this bolt to come all the way through without hitting the Allen that's already been installed in the clamping portion. All right guys, now that I got the sway bar mounted and centered, before we can figure out this roll angle, we're going to have to mount the side plates, get the heim joints in there. What we're looking for is the heim joints to be straight up and down, and then we want to make sure we have no clearance issues. Like right now, it's hitting the back of the pumpkin. This is going to change on all different style of rear ends, whatever you're running in your car. So let's get those side plates mounted and move on. So I'm going to go ahead and mount our heim joint to the bracket. All right, take a quick measurement on each side and make sure we're true. Everything looks good at 5.5. Also, I have now put the rear end at ride height. That way we can continue on with the sway bar install. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put this up in place. This bracket forms along with the frame, and what we want to achieve is this angle here once attached to the sway bar. Make sure you're in the right setting on both the bracket and the sway bar when doing this. Once you find your mark and you know you got good clearance out the pumpkin area, go ahead and mark your holes. Okay, now we'll go ahead and drill them out. All right, so what we use are these U-bolts to fasten everything down, one on the side, one on the bottom. And the reason we do that is if we drill all the way through the frame and then throw a bolt through there, more than likely you're going to collapse the sides of the frame rails. We don't want to do that. Bring it through like that. And we'll go ahead and install the bracket on it. Washer, lock washer, grade 8 nut. And then we'll go ahead and do the bottom U-bolt. Same thing. Feed it up through there. Just like that. Pull it through, put your washers and nuts on there, and we'll move on to the next step. We got the bar exactly where we want it. There's plenty of clearance back here. We got the heim joint where it needs to be. Let's put the bolt through. Then the spacer through the center hole, because we're on the center of the top bracket hole. All right, now that we've buttoned up the install, I'm going to go ahead and just double check everything, make sure everything's tight, make sure I like the angle of the bar itself, make sure there's much clearance in the rear. Again, make sure you do this and simulate ride height, whether that be on jack stands, on the ground, even on a 4-post lift, whatever you're more comfortable, make sure it's safe. All right, so let's talk about the adjustments real quick. I started in the center. I'm going to feel the car out, see what it's doing. But if you want more of a softer ride, more of a rollover in the turns, you're going to come up to the forward position. If you're looking for something a little more aggressive, not as much body roll, you're going to go to the rear position. And all this is going to be how you want to set your car up. So this concludes today's install of the rear sway bar. I hope it makes it easier for you. Thanks for watching.